Georgia, thank you so much for joining us here on talkSPORT. We're here at talkSocial for Women in Football's amazing event. You've just spoken on a panel about kind of career development and progression from playing football yourself to now maybe what you might do in the future. So do you just want to tell our listeners a little bit about your kind of journey up to where you are now?
Crikey, it's quite long. Let's condense it. Okay, so played in the Championship for about 5 years previous to playing at Rugby Borough. So I was at Lewis, then Millwall, then London Bees, then Sheffield, then Durham. Then recently been at Rugby Borough. Always worked sort of alongside that, and that's always been probably jobs that I've not massively loved, but I've just sort of facilitated being able to play football. And then recently started working as a personal trainer alongside playing at Rugby, and that's probably the best job I've had alongside that. So yeah, I think sort of looking forward, not done with football just yet, but don't know what is next in that sense. So still sort of exploring personal training and how I can make that sort of work for me alongside football at the minute.
You say, I have no idea what the previous jobs were before personal training, but you say you've enjoyed this one the most.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because sport and exercise to you, obviously you're a footballer, it's everying, and that's probably what's made it so enjoyable?
Yeah, I think so. I think I enjoy doing it and I enjoy helping other people enjoy it. And I think the sort of the freedom that I've had with that role has worked and been like nice alongside football, and I've sort of felt like my own boss, which has been nice. But I think, it's mainly doing something I love and then helping other people enjoy it as well, which is really rewarding.
Something that I picked up on when you were talking on the panel was that you went to university and you played football in America, like a lot of young girls do, because the facilities and just everything around we've always known that women's football in America is so well televised and promoted and marketed, and so it doesn't surprise me that when you drop down to college level it's the same, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned the standard probably wasn't as good as here, but everything else kind of made it really enjoyable. I wanted to ask you, not to let everyone know your age, but since you were at university in America compared to maybe now where the level of football is here in the UK, do you still, if you were say 18 now, would you still be wanting to go to America to play football there at age 18, or do you think we've progressed enough here that we are keeping girls in England playing football and developing them in the academies here?
I think there has been a massive progression, I think, and there are more girls staying in England, I think. I think it probably depends on sort of where you're at with what club you're at, what the academy setup is. But I think it's definitely better now, and there's less sort of top level girls going. So like girls that are in like Manchester, like Man City academies and things like that. I think that those sorts of teams are staying.
Yeah.
But I would say for girls that are maybe not in that catchment and sort of maybe dropping out of the net, or they've been at academies and they're being let go and they don't know where to go next, I think America's still a very, very good option. And I think probably the best option for those girls, because I think the sort of development you have as a person, sort of off the pitch, but like on the pitch, sort of physically, athletically, and just playing a different style and adapting and just, I think, growing as a person, you don't get that in England. And I think especially with the different tiers and like, are you going to university, you having to get a job, I think America's still a very good option for a lot of people.
So you mentioned you've done lots of different things alongside football. One thing I wanted to pick up on, we're not going to ignore it, is you went on a television show, right? I just wanted to ask, what point were you at in your career that led you to make the decision to want to do that? And since the show has aired and you've lived your life, it's been a year or so since then.
Yeah.
How has it changed for you? Has it impacted your football in any way? What was the whole process like going into it and then since?
Yeah, so I think sort of where I was at and wanting to do it, I was in a 2-year contract at Durham, but I wasn't happy there. But trying to leave was difficult. And sort of the show like popped up and I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm not happy at football. Let's say I'm going to do the show and then just leaving there. It was then made sort of quite difficult with where I was then going to move to next. But I think it just came at a time where I wasn't happy. And I think back, if I'd been at a team where I was happy, then I probably wouldn't have done the show, but it just sort of fell at a time where I wasn't, and I needed a change in life, and it sort of facilitated that change.
Yeah.
What was the rest of the question? What is it?
Has it impacted your footballing career since? Are you happy you went on the show? Is it changed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy I went on the show. I still think it was like something I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
So like the sort of experience itself and the sort of positives that have come out of it were like needed in my life.
Yeah.
Has it impacted my football? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if I wouldn't say it's positively impacted it. Whether it's negatively impacted it, I'm not really sure.
Right, okay.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But
We'll see.
it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. And I'm
Good.
glad I did it.
You mentioned on the panel wanting to potentially explore options of broadcast, media, things like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the process of somebody who hasn't necessarily played in the WSL for their whole career, hasn't played internationally. And do you think there's any barriers or boundaries for players who have still had incredible careers but maybe aren't those household names that now people know within the women's game?
Yeah.
How that will be navigating getting into media and broadcast? Do you think it become any harder for you, or are you just ready to do what you need to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. In my head, it definitely feels harder. I think the fact that I'm not like a big dog WSL, not had an international, not like a household football name, as you say, I think definitely makes it harder. But I think, yeah, just sort of willing to get stuck in wherever I can and see if it is even something I enjoy. I think I'd be good at it, but like actually getting into it, and then I think it would just be one of them things that sort of grows. But yeah, I definitely think it is harder from not being like a massive sort of household name, for sure.
I get that. Well, listen, you're doing pretty well in this interview, so as far as broadcast goes, you got thumbs up from me. I just wanted to move on quickly. Obviously, Women's Euros, we're in the midst of it. England lost their opening game, Netherlands tonight. What do you make of this England side? I mean, they won the Euros in the last tournament, and you know, the absolute country was behind the Lionesses.
Yeah.
Women's football, grassroots girls football, it was booming.
Yeah.
Fell off a little bit, right? And so have the Lionesses.
Yeah.
Some of the performances, obviously we've had 3 notable dropouts in the squad. Where do you think the Lionesses are at right now?
I'm not sure. I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
I think like they obviously smashed the last Euros. It was a home Euros, which I think obviously had a massive advantage, but I think that team, whatever Serena did, like it was like cooking on gas.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like that at the minute. Like it's obviously still fantastic team, fantastic players, but there's something just not really working.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think they're the same powerhouse that they were at the last Euros, and I think it's always hard to maintain that. And with anything there's sort of highs and lows, I think this might be a bit of a dip for them then to come back up. But I would like it to be our Euros, but I'm not sure it will be.
So I'm sensing that England probably aren't your favourites at this point in time. So can I ask who are?
I feel like Spain.
Yeah.
I think Spain are a powerhouse, and I don't know how they do, but they seem to consistently be that. So yeah, I feel like Spain.
I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, cheers for having me.